Welcome back. At the end of the previous part, I said I was going to present the costume here to essentially undo Gumshoe's testimony here and his assertion that, without a doubt, that they were not fighting back. But clearly they were, because there's a little hole right there on the sleeve. So, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Have you called me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who without a doubt was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlook supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is that what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Huh. What is with that "are you finished yet" laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Miss Von Karma? It seems that my affair was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. That is correct. But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. Ugh, damn it. Now that you... Why, that's right! Which means the defense is yet to prove anything at all. No. Well, yes, that's true. Yeah. Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. Huh? How so? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course. You mean by myself? You want me to put together the scenario all by myself? Triple dot? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. What transpired? Okay. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. He still hit something. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Unless you have ulterior motives. Now then, your cross-examination, please. Ooh. What transpired? Okay, let's go through once and let's see what we can come up with here. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. I'm thinking I want to press on that. I want more information about how you came to that conclusion. I want the details. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. Okay. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. See, I find that suspicious. Because it's like, you were too close, therefore you missed. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, because it's like, if you're too close, you're less likely to miss. So you'd imagine, like, let's go into the stuff here and have a look at it, actually. It's like, if you're too close, I say you're in a scuffle with a person wearing this costume here, you're not gonna shoot them in the sleeve. You're gonna hit flesh. So that seems suspicious to me because there's no blood around that hole. I don't feel like you'd miss that drastically. I don't feel like that's a thing. Whether that's what it wants me to do, I don't know. Let's carry on going through it. And the defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. It's like there, it's like, you took the gun. So you have to be, like, in order to grab the gun, your hand must be at the gun. It's like, you're gonna shoot the chest area easily. It's like, the fact it's a shot in the arm that missed, to me implies they were further away, rather than close up. If that makes any sense. Makes sense to me. His testimony certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. I still want to press him on the, still want to press you on this. There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess. Objection! You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? But when channeling with the Curian channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Curian channeling technique. Maybe I want to sort of like pursue that idea of like, how do you know the build of the nurse? Is that actually in our court record? Profiles of what we're after. We don't. Don't seem to have any information other than that. Like, how do you know that? How do you know their build? Just from images, pictures? Like I said before, I am perfect. Oh, okay. About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Triple dot. Triple dot. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony. Yes. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. Again, I don't feel like the too close is correct. And the only thing I can think to do here is present this again? Because again, it's like, I don't feel like you'd hit the arm. You'd hit the chest area, you'd hit the stomach, a leg, the actual arm. I don't feel that is right. I'm not 100% on this, but it's like that makes sense to me. Objection! Missing the tiny hole on this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Oh, what do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said that the two of them were fighting, and the victim fired his gun at point blank. Seems like I got it. If that were true, then... I completely forgot about that aspect. That is, yeah. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh. But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. Oh, there's no gunpowder at all. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. Okay, still the same logic there. Objection! I am disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can put your hole in my logic with that? Wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone could explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, or rather, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? Objection! As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after all. Well, then, that's right. I've come up with a new recipe. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There. That should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful. Can't afford to make a mistake here. Uh-oh. Concentrate and think. Something doesn't make sense. There's a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal flaw? Yeah! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. When she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. Must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. Well, it has to be the folding screen. Because if we're thinking about the shot, like the angle of it all, like, it is that sense of like, if. It depends, like, it's that sort of thing, like, where's the exit hole? It's that sort of thing, I want to flip it around, I want to see where the exit hole is, to see what the angle of everything was. Because I feel that's going to be important, is like, is it the same bullet hole or not? Is what we keep coming back to here, so... I mean, it's not the same bullet hole, but you know what I mean. This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What is that, a folding screen? I would like to point to the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Duh! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright! Your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. See, this is why I wanted the angle, to see where it went through on the arm. Like, all the way through. Is it going down? Is it going up? Is it, you know. Passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means... when the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Yeah, this is what I think. It was like, if you're standing, it's gonna be in the middle. That's why it's like, if it was pointed, like, say, like, the exit hole on the back of the sleeve was going further down, that would make some sense. But if it's straight, that has different connotations. But even then, the sleeve could be wrapped in a different position. Still, this is the kind of logic I was thinking. Oh, yes, there's squatting, yes. Oh. Order! Order! This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. Oh, I meant to actually pick the area. But they've got to be there, haven't they? So if it's hitting there, so it's like somewhere around here. Uh-oh. Judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some serious bad breath. I mean... Hey, yes, I've got to brush this morning. Excuse me while I freshen up. Sure. In the meantime, I want you to think things through again, Mr. Wright. Oh, damn it. Of course. Whoops. What's done is done. For now, I should focus on where Maya was at the time of the crime. Okay. Well, it's got to be in line with that. That's why I went with that. Or maybe she wasn't on the map. Maybe she was actually, like, here. Like, it's like... Like, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be somewhere along that line, so... It's got to be... there-ish? Somewhere around here. Uh-oh. The judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some... Then where? That's just... she's got... I don't know. Okay. Well, alright. So if we're thinking... Okay, if we're thinking he's standing... Because in my head, he was squat down as well and was shooting straight, so... If he's standing, she has to be pretty close to that location for it to be at the same height if she was squatting. So it's got to be there? She was standing here, near the folding screen. Okay, thank you. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she was shot from somewhere closer, then there would be gunpowder burns present, yeah? Yeah, we established that. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume, which is why I was thinking further away. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. Yeah, which was still in keeping with where I pointed. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? Well, it changes everything! What else would I be saying? Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting near the folding screen. Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Yeah. Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the What now? Blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective, How dare you damage my perfect logic? How is it all my fault? You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and the rest assured, your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor. Think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? That's gotta be Lotta. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. I didn't do too great there, but my logic was similar. I'm gonna go with no. June 21st, 11:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, Number 3. Phew. That was a close one. Yeah, I could have spent ages on that map getting the wrong spot. It's just that case of like, well, it has to be in line somewhere, and I thought, a ways away. And I was right next to the bullet hole, apparently, on the folding screen. I know you were giving it your all to defend me, but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air. Felt like I was pretty close to dying myself. But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing you. Thanks? Wait, tricked? That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right? By the way, is the next witness who I think it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lotta Hart. Guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sis's ghost will come after you and haunt you. Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia? Yeah. Do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher. Oh, I didn't know that. Why would you? June 21st, 11:43 a.m. District Court, Courtroom, Number 2. This is courtroom number 2 again. I was like, oh. Court will now reconvene. Now, the first order of... Oh! I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my witness, sit there quietly and watch like a good little boy. Yes, sir. Bring in the photographer who witnessed the channeling. Witness, your name and occupation, if you please. Hey, Phoenix. How you doing? Just fine. Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know. Wowza! Name and occupation. I declare, what in tarnation? Yes. Hey, Judge, this here is violence against my fair self. That's fine. That's fine? That ain't fine, that's a whip! Blech. There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even gotten to say my name and job yet. Triple dot. So the name's Lotta Hart, a paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify. Now, let's all be one big happy family, okay? Alright. Witness's account. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. Yes. We were waiting outside the door and then bang! We hear this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant, waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, There was no one else in the room. And did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place? Wrecking course. Eh? Excuse me? Wrecking course. Hey, short phone, you reckon? Of course I did. Blech. Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court. The moment of truth. What will be in that picture? Let's see here. Here's the picture. Indeed. I do feel like there's got to be still something going on with that folding screen. See, how was she, like, knelt down near where, like, it wanted me to say? That, like, doesn't make sense. I assumed it would be on the mat, essentially. That's why I chose the mat initially. It's like that. I don't know. Seems strange that she'd be basically on the plant. I don't know. It would certainly seem that only the defendant and the victim were in that room. Picture taken at the murder scene. The only thing I can think of is like there's someone behind the folding screen. Like, that picture doesn't show the entire room, it just shows everything in front of the folding screen. Lotta's photo added to the court record. Are you ready, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me. Okay, let's go with that logic of like, there's someone behind the folding screen. Only the doc and the defendant went to the channeling chamber. We're waiting outside the door and then bang! We hear this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room. Press on that. Are you absolutely certain of that? Sure am. But that old witch chased us out of the room, so... Old witch? She mean Morgan Fay? But there was no one else in there, and you know it. The channeling chamber was very dark, almost pitch black. Is there really no one else in there? What about behind the folding screen? What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there? Wreck given. Huh? What in the? Wreck given. You know, you reckon that's a given. It took me a good look around the room once. There ain't no way anyone was hanging out behind the folding screen. Let me have a word with you, Miss Hart. What? Got a problem? Wreck given. I mean, I'm having a little difficulty in understanding you. Would stop saying such... Oh, but now then, Mr. Phoenix Wright, do you see a problem with the testimony? Or don't you? The story adds up. What's worse, I was there at the scene of the crime with her. And her story is exactly how I would have told it too. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. I mean, yeah, that matches up again with what Pheonix knows, so he... Again, I'm thinking Pheonix shoes here. He's like, he can't really say anything else at this point, can he? We were waiting outside the door, and then bang, we hear this gunshot. I'll press on that, because we heard two, did we not? Was it really a gunshot? That's not... no. Objection! Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Why don't you testify for the court, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Was it really a gunshot? Yes, I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot. Why are we here listening to the defense testify? And the world becomes just a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know. And I tell you, that was a gunshot I heard. Now this is where the story heats up. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. Yeah? Side was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol round. So other than those two, there was no one else in the room. I don't know. The key, maybe? The knife. They could be hidden in that little cupboard at the back. Maybe that's what we have to go with? That little cupboard at the back? This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think the facts over before making accusations. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. So other than those two, there was no one else in the room. I don't know. Her story adds up. What's worse, I was there at the scene of the crime with her. And her story is exactly how I would have told it, too. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. We're waiting outside the door, and then bang, we hear this gunshot. Again, I'm thinking there was two. How do I present that? Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. So other than those two, there was no one else in the room. The story adds up. It's worse, I was there at the scene of the crime with her. The story is exactly how I would have told it too. Gonna have to press her on stuff. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. Yeah. We're waiting outside the door and then bang, we hear this gunshot. Okay, we did try on that one, but that didn't work. Just a lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. Let's see what else we can get from that. So let me get this straight. This Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down? Honestly, Mr. Phoenix Wright, why don't you tell us what happened then? Yes, Miss Von Karma, I broke the door down. Sorry. Why does this feel like an inquisition? Yeah, it's like everything I say is gonna be a case of like, I corroborate it. No need for apologizing. That was great. You're a real man. Oh, really? That's something I would have liked to see. The judge is smiling rather openly. Take that as a good sign? And? What did you see when she broke in? Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. Are you sure it was the defendant, Maya Fey? Sure, I'm sure. Lotta seems awfully confident in her testimony. Press harder? Lotta, please think back to the day one more time. What you getting at? Remember what you said when we broke into the room? I was murdered. Lotta, at a time like this, times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she Maya? And you saw the murderer at that time. You couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not, am I correct? Well, you see... Didn't even see that... Order. Miss Hart, you are here to present accurate testimony. Yeah, sorry. Good, this shifts things back to my side. For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm gonna say that was terrible. Blech. Witness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber. When they entered, one of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in. Looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey. Exactly. Rats. I'm trapped like one. Again. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room. Are you absolutely certain of that? Sure am. That old witch chases out of the room, so... Old witch. She mean Morgan Fay. See, the Morgan Fay thing's an issue for me. There's no one else in there, and you know it. Channeling chamber was very dark and was pitch black. Is there really no one else in there? What about... behind, under the flooring? What about under the flooring? Did you check there? I ain't no ignoramus to make it out here. Huh? What are you talking about? What are you talking about me? Under the flooring? Come on, even a bug wouldn't crawl under that. Sorry to disappoint, but there was no secret passageway under the flooring. Oh, yeah, that was a bit far-fetched, huh? Oh, her story adds up. It's worse, I was there at the scene that... Yeah, going through that again. Yeah, let's just press her on everything then. That's the only thing I can think of at this point. Because we got a little further on one of them, so only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. Was it really only those two that went in? What are you blabbering about? You were there too, were you not? Ugh. Yeah, this is the issue it's going to keep coming back to. It's like, he was there. Why don't you answer that yourself? Was it really just the two of them? Yes, Dr. Gray and I were the only two that went into the room. Oh, hold on. We can't have the defense testifying against its own client. Anyway, folks, only the two of them went into the channeling chamber, you hear? Just as I thought. There's nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth. Enough. It seems that there are no issues with Miss Hart's testimony. Uh-oh. At the time of the crime, only two people were in the channeling chamber. The victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey. The face of the defendant cannot be verified in this picture. However, if we think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant. What am I gonna do? I just let this go. Was it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say. If I make one wrong move, I'm going to have the judge against me. Is there anything I can present that will prove it's not Maya in that photo? I honestly don't know. Key's not gonna help. This may be one of those situations where it's like I'm gonna be like, nah, there's nothing. There's nothing. But we are obviously going to end this part here, and in the next part we'll not present anything, and hopefully that's the correct option. See you in the next part. Ta-da for now.